We're live.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the regular session of the University City Council to order at 6:33 p.m. on May 11th, 2026. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Dancy,
Present.
Councilmember Teeman,
Present.
Councilmember McMahon,
Here.
Councilmember Brenner,
Present.
Councilmember Fuller,
Here.
Councilmember Smotherson,
Here.
Mayor Crowe.
Here. Before you, you have the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? Councilmember Smotherson.
Thank you, Mayor Crowe. Just to recognize the fact that J2 is actually, well, K2 is actually J2.
Yeah.
So we got that? Is it?
That's
Okay.
it. Councilmember Fuller. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda? Motion made by Councilmember McMahon, seconded by Councilmember Fuller. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. You have before you a proclamation, which I think we all want to wish J.B. Graham a happy 100th birthday, and that proclamation will be provided out by the city clerk later this evening. You have before you the minutes from the draft study session of CBIZ on April 13th. Is there a motion to approve? Motion made by Councilmember McMahon. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Brenner. Is there a discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Fuller.
Honorable Mayor, I'd like to reappoint Michael Hoganfort to the Board of Adjustments.
Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember McMahon. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. No swearings in. We are now going to our first section of citizen participation. For those of you who've just walked in, there are sign-up sheets over by the door. Please feel free to fill them out on either an agenda or a non-agenda item. Please put it in the basket then in front of the city clerk, and you will be called on at the appropriate time. At this point in time, we have two requests to speak on non-agenda items. The first is Tom Sullivan.
Tom Sullivan, 751 Syracuse. I have several things to mention, some not for the first time. It was hoped that some needed improvements would be addressed when spring came around and there was new management, but that does not seem to be the case. It's just business as usual. There are still 4 streetlights out at Olive and Kingsland. They have been out now for nearly 9 months. That causes a half block to be darkened, creating an unsafe situation at night. There's another streetlight out nearby on Chamberlain, right across from Shelley Welsh Park, which has no lighting. The fountain in Lewis Park is crumbling and the lip around the pond has been deteriorating with sections falling into the pond. The Rain Man surroundings also need some work. These will likely end up the same as the roof on number 2 Firehouse. It leaked for 10 years before anything was done about it and then cost more than $100,000 to fix. There are still numerous dumpsters on the east end of the city that need covers. This presents a health hazard as it attracts rats and allows leakage from garbage when it rains. Where Heman Avenue runs into Metcalf Park, there's a mess that's been there for weeks. Discarded furniture has been there, and the dumpster is missing lids. How can anyone not notice this? There are still utility wires hanging down in several places. There still needs attention to missing covers at the base of streetlight poles. Kingsland Avenue still needs a lot of attention. It's a mess from one end to the other. There used to be nice trees and shrubs on the side of parking lot number 4, but not anymore. While so much is made over the new police station and the Costco development, many neighborhood problems in the city are ignored. Just recently, I spent time at the U City Library doing some research. Despite all the tax dollars spent to upgrade it, being in the library is not always a pleasant experience. People are loudly talking, and those using the computers will sometimes loudly throw out F-bombs and MF bombs with no concern for who is around. Some patrons are eating and drinking while using the computers, mostly to watch videos. Some talk to the videos as they play. The other week, some woman was actually singing. The amount of ignorance and bad manners is pretty incredible. They have a police officer there in the library some of the time, but one is needed all the time. Thank you for listening to my comments.
Thank you very much. Our next request to speak is Carla Brown. you please give your name and address?
Good evening. My name is Carla Brown. I am a longtime resident of University City. My address is 941 Swarthmore Lane. It will be a year on March 19th that the tree that was in front of my house was destroyed by the storm. It will be a year, May 19th. These are the pictures. I want everyone to see this was a huge tree. That's the first picture. Picture number 2 is May 21st. Picture number 3 is June 9th. This is June 9th through October 21st of 2025. Same picture, January 12th of 2026. This is across the street from Torah Prep. Parents walk their kids to school. They go through this crosswalk. Kids go over this thing like it's an amusement park. So do the runners. So do the other walkers in the neighborhood. This is a very unsafe condition, and it has been this way for way too long. Anytime I drive down Pershing and I see all the new sidewalk and it's so beautiful, I need 4 slabs of concrete. That's all. I don't know what do I need to do? Is there anything I can do? Do I need to find UCity a concrete contractor? I doubt it, because certainly there's already one available. So whatever it takes, if I have to come back every month with my same pictures, I will do that. But whatever it takes, last time I said I was going to call Channel 4. I have not. I really don't want to. Don't make me. And I'm not threatening. I'm just stating a fact. When people pass by, they look at this and say, when is UCity going to fix it? My response, call City Hall. Thank you very much. And I hope that I don't have to come back in front of you guys again. And if I do, I will. Such is life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes our citizen comments for this section of the evening. Are there any council comments at this time? Councilmember Smotherson.
Thank you, Mayor Crowe. I just wanted to add to Ms. Brown's report about the sidewalk in front of her house. And that is, there are 2 schools, Torah Prep and Brittany, that are in the area, and her street is where students walk to both schools. So I just wanted to make sure that was well known, and we should have a priority to getting that fixed.
Thank you very much. We have no public hearings this evening. We have before you the consent agenda items K1 and 2, asbestos identification and approval for the city clerk to sign and seal a boundary adjustment for St. Louis County Recorder of Deeds. Is there a motion to approve? Motion made by Councilmember Fuller, seconded by Councilmember McMahon. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Ms. Sharp.
Honorable Mayor Crowe, members of the City Council, I have 2 updates for you under City Manager updates. The first one is regarding the budget, which, as you all know, you received the draft budget on May 1st in accordance with our charter. And I indicated that I would continue working on that draft, which I have. I will be posting a draft online for the public to view on Friday. After that, we will have a public hearing on May 26th, and then we will have our budget presentation on June 8th. We're continuing to work through the items in the budget every single day. But I wanted to let you all know where we were with that. I will be reaching out tomorrow to each of you to schedule meetings by ward. I did put that in my, I believe, report when I sent out the budget, that we would meet by ward with our budget consultant. Those meetings can be in person or virtual, up to you all, but I'll start, once I get a schedule from her tomorrow, I will start contacting you all to set those up. The next update is regarding the flood buyout, and I'll ask Economic Development Manager Becky Alvin to step forward and provide you all with a brief update on the flood buyout.
Thank you very much. We have no unfinished business. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I apologize. I moved right through. Becky?
That's
Forgive-
okay. I'll speak quickly. SEMA has started sending over offers for the properties. We've got offers for about half the properties right now, and the remaining ones should come over in the next couple of weeks. Fingers crossed on that. Once we send those off, well, once we get those letters, we have to create a letter and a form that go to the resident for them to sign off and say they, their next steps. And it outlines that the following options, they have 21 days to choose to either accept the offer, appeal the appraised value by obtaining and submitting an independent appraisal at the property owner's expense, reject the offer and withdraw from the program, or dispute the duplication of benefits calculation and provide additional supporting document. Once we reach an acceptance from the property owner, we then schedule closing for about 30 days later. Once closing happens, we have 90 days, and these are SEMA and FEMA rules. We have 90 days to demo, grade, and seed the property. And within those 90 days, we also have to do asbestos identification testing in those houses. So we're trying to schedule things right now so that we're not demoing one house at a time here and there. We're trying to get it all together so that it's least inconvenience for the people in the area, and hopefully we can have a smooth process. But all right.
Any questions? Councilmember Fuller.
Thank you, thank you. We just approved this asbestos mitigation situation. Is the cost on that just for the consulting part of that, or would that include? I mean, you have no idea yet how much
Sure.
is identified.
Correct. So that is just to identify if the houses have asbestos in
And
them.
if they do, then will there be further cost because that's always a costlier.
It is costlier. So if there is asbestos, it changes how we have the demolition happen. They have to do a special I think
I
they
understand,
wet it
yes.
down or something. They have a special procedure for that.
So my question was, that cost that we just approved is just for the consulting.
Correct. Just the identification.
Thank you very much. Anything else, Ms. Sharp? Thank you. I apologize for that. You have before you Resolution 2026-03, St. Louis County Waste Reduction Grant. Is there a motion to approve? A motion to approve. Motion made by Councilmember Brenner, seconded by Councilmember McMahon. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. You have before you the council reports and business. Are there any reports from members of council at this time? Hearing that, Madam Clerk, do we have any further requests to speak from citizens?
There are none.
Are there any council comments this evening? Councilmember McMahon.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to comment, a little while ago, there was some discussion about the street improvements and community block grants. And I just wanted to focus on the thought that I always looked at the city as acting in one, for the benefit of all the residents. And it's certainly appropriate for any council member to advocate for their ward. And I know that everybody street's the worst street in the city and it should get paved first. But I think that we don't want to slip into a situation where we're pitting one ward against another. And I really think that the council together is always focused on what's best for the city. And I think one of the easy examples that is really highlighted in our minds right now is that when the Markets at Olive was introduced, there was a large portion of probably the largest single tax directed city money to one ward at any time in the history of U City was directed to the third ward. And during that time, I didn't have one phone call, one resident walk up to me and ask, or an email that said, Steve, why isn't there more money going to the first ward? Because it was the right thing to do to go to the third ward. And so when I listened to the discussion that there should be a third of our tax dollars to each ward, a third, a third, a third, and then all the community block grants go to the third ward. I thought about that, and on its face, it sounds reasonable. But then you start to think about it, and our wards aren't budgets. They're not budgetary lines. They're political lines. And it's easy to understand that if you think in 2020, there was a census, and what happened? The third, we had to redraw our lines. The third ward got a little bigger, and the first ward got a little smaller. But if we do a third, a third, a third, that means a bigger area now has to be funded by the same third. So you're actually trying to fund more area with less money. So we know that the wards aren't budget boundaries. They're political boundaries. So we want to try to get representation that's fair, but it's not broke out that way. And when you look at community block grants, I looked up what the HUD designations, they're not broken out by ward. There's actually a area that consists of the second and third ward that has 85% low and moderate income. Well, why wouldn't those residents be able to have community block grants too? But that's not what was offered. And if we're going to do a third, a third, a third, I mean, look at the first ward. We've got large sections of private subdivisions who pay for their own streets. Do we have a third of the streets? Or would we get a third of the money but have less streets to pave than the third ward? In essence, if we go a third, a third, a third, you might be cutting the third ward short. But if we want to do a third, a third, a third, what about the parks? The first ward has 2 parks. I think the third ward has 8. Do we want to do a third, a third, a third? I don't know if that's the right thing to do for the third ward. You might be cutting the third ward short. What about stormwater? We just had a presentation, and most of our flooding issues are in the second and third ward. Does the first ward say, where's our third of the stormwater money? Or do we say, as a city, what's the right thing to do? Do we focus on where the worst streets are and fix those? And if all of them are in the third ward, let's fix them. If some are in John's ward, let's fix them. Some are in Lisa's ward, let's fix them. So I don't think a third, a third, a third, and all the community block grants. I don't think that's what we should do. I think we should focus on not pitting one ward against the other, but what's doing right for the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Brenner.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to follow up on the stormwater presentation. I think there are a number of items within that which we could probably move quickly on, and perhaps we need to consider, you know, like which ones are actionable soon, because I think sometimes we get a presentation and we've got so many priorities, things get put aside. And of course, there's going to be some other ones that probably need more work or more study that will come later, or more money. But just to consider that, for instance, you know, the policy changes, things like that, maybe we need to think about how do we schedule that soon so that we get moving soon on those things. That's all.
Councilmember Smotherson.
Thank you, Mayor Crow. And I do want to, and I appreciate Councilmember McMahon's statement and about the community block grant money. And I do want to clarify something, that I was not, in fact, making this about the political boundaries, because I am well aware that the second ward also has areas that are probably equal to some of the areas in the third ward. My question is one thing: to use the community development block grant money correctly. And that is the question. Are we using it correctly? And that's my question. And I'm still looking for an answer to that.
Anyone else? If there are no further comments, this is one of the few times we do not have a closed session. I would welcome a motion to adjourn. Is there such a motion? Motion made by Councilmember Teeman, seconded by Councilmember Brenner. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.